How you doing? This is Sam Tolley with In Him First. We view the world through the lens of Jesus Christ. We never view Jesus Christ through the lens of the world. You know, a few days ago I went to what I would describe as a very remarkable event. It was these two pastors, one white and one black. They came together to seek common ground concerning many of the issues which are dividing America racially. You know, I find it ironic that two men welded together in Jesus Christ would find it necessary to discuss issues which the Bible already provides direction. But their situation isn't unique. The unique thing is the fact that they are willing to get together and discuss them. And that each was willing to go to the other church, one predominantly white, one predominantly black, and take questions from the folks in the audience. These men were truly trying to reach the people and trying to share the love of Jesus Christ and dealing with difficult topics. So, you know, I salute them for that. One of the topics that was addressed was this Kaepernick kneeling issue. So I want to make sure that no one misunderstands my position on Colin Kaepernick. So I'm going to leave a link for my August 31st, 2016 article on American Thinker entitled "The Cowardice of Colin Kaepernick." But I'm posing a different premise today based on the following questions which I asked at that Unity event. And my question was, why are we focusing on the minor and ignoring the major? I mean, if you had a pimple and stage 4 cancer, I think you would concentrate on the cancer first instead of the pimple. Well, you know, the black pastor, he did take offense to what I said, because I guess it made him think that I was implying that people being killed by the police, black people, predominantly black men, is not a big issue. It's not something that I was that concerned about. And that's not my point at all. You know, I, like any other black person, I hear the news, I hear all these different things. I'm bombarded with the media. And I've also taken the time to teach my children how they should react if they're ever pulled over or they're stopped by the police. You know, I'm cognizant of what's going on out there in the streets. And I'm cognizant of the fact that not only are many black people leery of the police, there are many police leery of black people. So, you know, there needs to be a balance in the thought perspective, particularly the way the media sticks this stuff out there. And in fact, I even made a video entitled "Young Man Stay Alive" to try to help young black men react appropriately if they come in contact with the police. I'll leave a link for that as well. But when I said what I said, I meant it. Because I believe that the situation involving black people being killed by the police is a pimple compared to the metastasizing cancer that we're facing, and folks don't even know. They don't know because they're being bombarded, I believe, from the media and from many people that are so-called leaders, and they're being taught to focus on the minor and ignore the major. You know, in order to blind people from seeing the greater problem, never ever mention it, but constantly feed them a lesser problem. After a while, the lesser problem becomes the greater problem, and the greater problem disappears from the reality of those suffering the effects of its implementation. And this is true. This is happening in the black community. And many people do not have a clue. You know, it reminds me of what Joseph Stalin said. You know, the dictator that killed off a whole lot of his Russian people prior to World War II, probably after as well. Stalin said that one death is a tragedy, but 1 million deaths is just a statistic. And as evil as the man is, or was, shall I say, he hit on something here. Because people get numb to the reality of what the heck is going on. So I'm going to show you the greater problem and why I compare the police shooting a black man as a pimple to the greater problem facing the black populace. But before I get to the greatest problem, I'm going to show you a mid-problem that I will liken to pneumonia before we get to the stage 4 cancer. I'm going to use the year 2015 for most of my statistics because that is one year that I can get everything together to show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to have to use some graphs. Well, not so much as graphs, but statistics. But I'm going to walk you through it so you can understand exactly what I'm saying. And then I'm going to show you an example of the stage 4 cancer, which I call ongoing present day black genocide, that you can verify for yourself. And then you will see, hopefully, why I compare the two as I do. I'm not lessening the death of a black man by the police, but the death of one is nothing compared to the death of many. And if we're going to get upset about the one, we should definitely get upset about the many. So let's get started. Okay, let's deal with this. In the year 2015, or at the year's end of 2015, according to the Census Bureau, there were 322,762,018 people in the United States. That was our population at the end of 2015. At that time, according to estimates, we were about 13% of the population. Well, if you calculate that, that comes out to 41,959,062 black people in America. That's what that comes out to. So, follow me. We got some place to go here. According to the Washington Post, in 2015, there were 995 people shot dead by the police, total, in the United States. This is all nationality and races. Whether it was justified or unjustified or whatever, 995 people. Of that total, there were 259 black people killed. By the way, there was 497 white people, but that's not pertinent to where I'm going. So in 2015, there were 259 black people killed out of the 41 million that we have in our society. That averages out to 0.001% of the population. Okay? Now, according to the Daily Caller, in 2015, there are about 6,000 black-on-black homicides in the United States. This is what I call pneumonia. About 6,000 black folks killed another black person. Now, when you look at that, that comes out to 0.01% of the population, or For every policeman that killed a black person, 23 black people killed another one. Now, this is what I call pneumonia. This is a contagion, a disease in our community that the media plays down, that the leadership plays down. I mean, everybody read about Chicago and the ongoing slaughter of Chicago. And isn't it ironic that Jesse Jackson, that not Al Sharpton, but Louis Farrakhan and Barack Obama hail from Chicago. And it has gotten worse. It hasn't gotten better. It makes you wonder what former President Obama was doing as a community organizer in Chicago. Because it seems like the only thing that's organized in Chicago is killing each other. But nevertheless, 23 black men or black people are killed by another black person compared to every black person that was killed by the police in 2015. And you never see riots, you never see on the news media marches, you don't see a call up in arms, you don't see all this stuff. You see every time a policeman, and I think it's preferably a white policeman, kills a black person, because I think this is something that the media wants to project, and a lot of the powers that be, because they want to deflect from what's going on. You know, it's like if you have a kettle, you need to let a little steam out of the kettle before it blows up. You know, while you're cooking this stuff, you got to release some of the pressure. But you don't want to release the pressure on what's really going on. In this case, you want to use something that will benefit you. You need a scapegoat. So the police are a perfect scapegoat. Keep the heat on them and ignore what's really going on. Ignore the real problem. Get the people not to think about the real problem. Keep them focused on the minor problems. But like I said, that is only pneumonia. I want to show you a small clip from a movie called Maafa 21. This is a movie that you can see online. I believe they have it out there on a website. I believe it's maafa21.com. But you can get it from the producers of the movie. Every pro-life person should see it, and every black person that cares about black people should watch it. Watch this clip.
What would you say is now the #1 cause of death in the African American community?
Heart disease.
Oh, HIV/AIDS.
Diabetes, cancer, AIDS.
I'll say heart disease.
AIDS.
From what I heard, it's probably AIDS, you know.
Probably heart disease.
I think heart disease.
HIV. Gang violence.
What if I told you the real answer was abortion?
Since 1973, legal abortion has killed more African Americans than AIDS, cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and violent crime combined. Every week, more blacks die in American abortion clinics than were killed in the entire Vietnam War. And the largest chain of abortion clinics in the United States is operated by Planned Parenthood.
We have now reached a point in this country that African American women, though they make up 12% of the population, they account for 37% of the abortions. An African American baby is almost 5 times more likely to be aborted than a white child. The abortion industry at this point kills as many African American people every 4 days as the Klan killed in 150 years. And you can truly say the most dangerous place for an African American to be is in the womb of their African American mother.
All across America, you can stand outside of the abortion clinics and see a steady stream of black women coming in and out. But somewhere along the way, we got the idea that this is a white issue or a conservative issue or a Republican issue, and therefore, it's not an issue that we have to be concerned about. This same attitude has allowed Planned Parenthood and other members of the abortion industry to carry out this genocide right under our very noses. Right now, in America, about half of our babies are being killed in the womb. And in certain parts of America, more of our babies are being aborted than are being born.
When 17,000 aborted babies were found in a dumpster outside of a pathology laboratory in Los Angeles, California, some 12 to 15,000 were observed to be black. Irma Clardy Craven, Chairman, Minneapolis Commission on Human Rights and Secretary of the Urban League.
You know, a few days ago, I visited the grave site, and it was actually 16,433 fetuses that were buried there. I know they put the headstone 16,500. I went to a National Day of Remembrance for these unborn. And I think there was like a 3-year fight to bury these babies because the liberals and the Democrats, they didn't want to bury them. They didn't want to acknowledge them as people. But folks that are believers wanted them buried. And I believe the heavy lifting was done by the Catholics. So the Catholics were having this Day of Remembrance. So I went to it. And it was only 9 Catholics there at that location. Only 9. But that wasn't bad enough. There was only 1 Protestant, and that was me. It shows you how we lose focus. This is in Whittier, California, where these babies are born. These babies that were left in they were left in like some kind of a tractor trailer. This guy didn't pay his fee. So it got repossessed, and when the folks came to open the sucker up, these body parts started falling out. These aborted babies, and most of them are black. So anyway, getting back to the numbers, getting back to the genocide, that more black people are getting killed than anything in America. When you look at 2015, according to Guttmacher, anyway, this is, they're affiliated with Planned Parenthood, so they would not lie. They said it was 926,190 abortions they estimate for 2015. Now, getting back to our, oh, by the way, black people make up about 36% of the abortions. We're like 13% of the population according to the stats I showed earlier. But 36% of the abortions, do you know what that means? That means that for every person killed by the police in 2015, there was 1,287 black babies killed in the womb. 1,287. So every time you see, they talk about a white policeman or a black policeman or some policeman shot a black person, you got over 1,000 black babies that are dead. And that should turn your stomach. That should make you think about something. But it gets worse. Now I'm going to show you ongoing genocide in New York City. In New York City. And you know, by the way, New York City is where the headquarters of Planned Parenthood is. But a little bit more about Planned Parenthood after I go through this chart. Please take a look. I'll walk you through it. Oh, by the way, before I get into this one chart, there was another chart which was too big for me to put on put out. It's a long spreadsheet provided by the City of New York from the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. And it shows the births through 2000 up into 2000 and, well, I had it to 2015, but I got the 16 stats. But what I'm interested about this particular one is from the year 2008 up until 2016, every year there were less black births than the prior year. For example, in 2008, there were 27,917 black births. And in 2009, it was 27,405. So each succeeding year, less black babies were born in New York City than the prior year. Let me give you a real startling statistic. Going back, all the way back to 2000 itself, the year 2000, there were 32,879 black births in New York City. You know how many births there were in 2016? 22,465. That means that there were 10,414 births less. I mean, I'm talking about compared to the year 2000 to the year 2016. That should make you think. But now we're going to get into this real nasty. This spreadsheet that I prepared based on information that I received, also the summary of vital statistics from the City of New York. And this spreadsheet goes from the year 2012 to 2016. It lists the number of births by ethnic group. It lists the number, the percentage, the birth rate, increase or decrease, total abortions, whether the increase or decrease is positive or negative, meaning from the prior year. You can take a screenshot and you can study this thing. But let me cut to the chase quickly. Go all the way to the positive and negative life. And you look under where it says non-Hispanic black. In the year 2012, 13, 14, 15, and 16, each and every year, there were more black babies aborted than were born in New York City. More black babies aborted than were born in New York City. Think about that. Now, for each of those years, matter of fact, as far as the abortion versus born ratio, blacks were the only one. The Hispanics, the whites, the Asian Americans, all of them had more births than abortions during that time period. But blacks, more of us were killed in the womb than came out of the womb. Why is that? Why no one talks about that? And like I said, each succeeding year, there were less births than there were the prior year. If you start looking at it in 2012, 14, 15, and 16, there were more white births than the prior year. New York City, the home of Planned Parenthood. This is ongoing black genocide, people. This is black people being killed in the womb. From the year 2012 through 2016, there were 18,482 more abortions than people were born in New York City that are black. Now let me tell you something else, getting back to Planned Parenthood. The United States government gives these people $500 million each and every year. Taxpayer money, my money, your money, whether you like it or not. And to show you just how devastating this stuff is. Planned Parenthood gives politicians that support abortion between $30 and $35 million a year. Where do you think they get that money from? So all these politicians, and the predominance is Democrats, they are lock, stock, and barrel in the bed with Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood is they're getting our money and they're killing us off. And black folks can't see the bigger problem, the metastasizing cancer, because they would have us focused on a pimple. They would have us focus on the lesser things and ignore the larger things, when we should be dealing with the larger things first. Because if we're dead, what difference does it make? And if over 18 million black babies have been aborted since 1973, I think we're talking about roughly around a third of our population killed in the womb. And many of us won't talk about it. We ignore it or we play it down. It's just like Joseph Stalin said. One death is a tragedy. And the media picks up on, oh, this black man was killed by a police person. Oh, 900 black babies were aborted today. So what? It's 900 black babies aborted every day.
Thank you, Planned Parenthood. God bless you. God bless America. Thank you.
We need to wake up, people. The church as a whole needs to wake up and pay attention to what the heck is going on. Black people need to wake up and understand you are getting killed following demonic policies. Wake up, people, before it's too late. This is Sam Tolley, and I'm out.